This is in preparation for your page 47, well actually it's page 46 and 47 homework. So on page 46 it talks about common denominators, and the purpose and the reason for having a common denominator is when we add and subtract, both fractions need to have the same denominator. Therefore, if we are adding 1/4 plus 1/4, that is very easy, because we can look over here and see that we have 1/4, because this bar is divided into 4, and we have 1/4 plus 1/4. Well, that equals 2/4. Now that all changes when we have different denominators. Let's say we need to add 1/4 plus 1/2. So how do we change these fractions so that the denominators are the same? Well, if we go over here to this equivalent fraction chart, we can see that 1/2 is equal to 2/4. So actually then that makes it pretty easy. So we can say here that 1/2 equals 2/4, plus of course 1/4 here stays the same. And now we can add it. 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4. So 1/4 plus 1/2 equals 3/4. That is the answer. How are we going to add 1/4 plus 1/2 if we don't have the chart? Now I will have to show you how to calculate this without the chart. What calculations do we need to do in order to change 1/2 into 2/4? So if you look at this, you will see we have 1/2 here. What do we do to this 2 to turn it into a 4? Well, we are going to multiply it by 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. Now, whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. So it is 1 times 2 equals 2. Therefore, we can see now how 1/2 can be changed into 2/4. If we didn't have the chart, we would still have to know which number is the lowest common denominator that we can change it to. So in order to do that, we have to find the lowest number that both the number 4 and the number 2 can divide into. So what is the lowest number that can be divisible, that is divisible by 4 and 2? The question is, what is the smallest number that is divisible by both 2 and 4? So what does that mean, divisible by? I want to show you that. I have picked some random numbers. For example, I picked number 2, number 5, and number 4. Is the number 2 divisible by 4 and 2? Is the number 2 divisible by these numbers? So let's try it out. Can I divide 2 by 4? Well, no, 2 isn't enough. Can I divide 2 by 2? Yes, I can. All numbers are divisible by themselves, and it goes once. But since they both are not, we can't divide both into 2, and 2 is not divisible by both of these numbers, then the number 2 is out. How about the number 5? Is 5 divisible by 4? Yes, it is, but not even. It's out. We don't even have to do the next one because they both have to be divisible. Or the number has to be divisible by both. Sorry about that. Now, how about the number 4? Is the number 4 divisible by 4 and 2? Well, I'll put 4 here and I'll put 2 here. And let's work it out. Is 4 divided? Can I divide this 4 by 4? The answer is yes, I can. It goes once, and 1 times 4 is 4, and so that goes evenly. How about the number 4? Is it divisible by 2? Yes, 2 divides into 4, actually 2 times. And 2 times 2 is 4, and it also goes even. Therefore, the answer to this question here, what is the smallest number that is divisible by 4? Well, the answer is 4, because we can see that 4, the number 4, is divisible by both 2 and it's divisible by 4. So therefore, the answer is, to this question here, is 4. So 4 is the least common denominator. And that we knew that because we already have done that, right? And we knew that this equals 2/4. Okay, so just to recap what the word divisibility actually means, something that is divisible by something else, as in this case here, we have 1/2 and 1/4. So what is the smallest number that's divisible by both of these numbers? So that number would be in here, and we already know that it is 4. So 4 is divisible by 2, and it is also divisible by 4. So that is what it means, just to recap. All right, now that we've done it this way, I am going to show you a quick way to do it going forward, to calculate the least common denominator going forward. So on page 47, the first question is 1/4 and 1/2. You already know the answer to this, but I'm using it anyway because I'm going to show you a method to use going forward. You can simply draw a T-chart, which I will do here, and you may have remembered doing this already. And I'll put the smaller number here and then the bigger number here, and I'll use a different color inside. And now what I'm going to do is find out what all the numbers are, or not all, but I'm going to list out the numbers or the multiples of 2 and the multiples of 4, because those multiples are numbers that are divisible by 2, and the multiples of 4 are divisible by 4. And what that means is that you're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8. So as you can see, all of these numbers here are divisible by 2. 2 divided by 2 is, let's put it over here, 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So you can see the pattern. Now let's do the multiples of 4, and we start with, and I will use a different number again. So we have 4 here. So 4, 8, 12, 16, and we could keep going if we needed to, but we don't need to. So all of these digits here, 4, 8, 12, and 16, are all multiples of 4, and they are all divisible by 4. So 4 can be divided into all of those numbers. Now, what is the least common multiple? So whatever that common multiple is a number that is divisible by both 2 and 4. So if we look over here, we can see that 4 is a common multiple, but hey, so is 8. There are often a number of common multiples between numbers, but we want the lowest one. So in this case, it will be the number 4. So 4 is the winner. 4 is the lowest or least, I always say lowest, but it's the least common denominator. We can also say the least common multiple. Okay, there it is, an easy way to do it. Let's just do one more, just to make sure you know what you're doing there on page 47. So once again, you get, in this case here, this is just a random number I picked, 1/4 and 1/4 and 1/5. So we will take those denominators, put them here, and then what you're going to do is find the common multiples by counting by those numbers. So like 4, 8, I'll write those down. 4, 8. Oh, wait a minute. We don't start that way. Sorry about that. Let me just change that. I start with 4 actually, and then 8, and then 12, and then 16. So that's, we're counting by 4s here. And then 20, and then 24, and then 28. Okay. Now, let's do the 5s. I'll pick yellow there. 5. So we're going to start with 5. 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on. Now, do you see a common multiple here between 4 and 5? That one wasn't an easy one, actually. And I know that you see it because there it is. It is 20. So 20 is a common multiple, and it looks like the least common multiple. So the least common denominator or multiple equals 20. And when it's fractions, and we're working with fractions, although it is a common multiple, it is being used as a denominator. So in this case, 1/4, then we can change 1/4 into 20ths. And just like you did before, you know it's 4 times 5 equals 20. Automatically times 5 up here, and there it is. But you don't need to do this part right now. That was just an added bonus. All right, so in closing, I'm going to ask you to please do questions 1 to 16 on page 47. Take a picture of your work and then send it to me. And I hope what I've done here will help you. If not, please let me know which parts need re-explaining, and I'll be happy to do so. All the best to you.